Right, well here we are in a slightly different location and I've just made some more alterations to the camera to hopefully keep wind noise out, but we'll have to wait until my next ride to find out whether that's worked or not. I brought the bike over here because my father and my son are both doing stuff out on the yard and making a bit of a racket, so I thought I'd come over by the railway line for some peace and found that there's a guy on the railway line juggling while he waits for a train. But anyway, each to their own. And what I thought I'd devote this video to is actually, now not rounding on the guy as such, but after my clutch cable broke and I made a video of obviously riding it home and discussing things afterwards and fitting a replacement clutch cable which I had on the shelf, and I've also soldered the one that failed because it just pulled out the nipple after about 30 years. Someone actually made a comment though on my Performance Classics Facebook page. Why don't you go hydraulic? Lol. I hate that lol, don't you? But anyway, I said, well, yes, and if I converted it to hydraulic operation, I could still suffer failed seals in a master cylinder, a slave cylinder, or maybe a split or burst pipe or something if I was unlucky. But the general sort of attitude in response to that was that no, it was infallible. Well, I've done a little bit of work with hydraulics in my time, and I can assure anybody and everybody that they can and do fail. So I wouldn't fit a hydraulic clutch conversion to this if such a thing were available. Maybe it is, because I still wouldn't sort of think to myself, well, that's it, I don't have to worry about that again, because you just never know. There is nothing on this planet really that can't fail. Now, alright, you could say that I'm fitting a hydraulic clutch operation kit to the Trident and it might reduce the odds of a failure. Well, it might do, but it took 30 years for the cable to pull out the nipple on the clutch cable that failed the other day. Now, I don't think 30 years is too bad for a clutch cable, which could then be repaired anyway. So I mean, if I get 30 years out of the clutch cable I fitted on this one now, well, I'll be 89 years old, so probably, it's rather sad to think about it that way, but perhaps this might be the last clutch cable I have to fit to this Trident. I don't see that converting it to hydraulic operation is going to sort of benefit me in any way, so I'm not going to. And all these things, these improvements and upgrades and stuff like that. Now, there are companies that make lots of money out of selling things like that. Maybe I missed a trick by not doing similar myself with certain things, but for instance, you know, I've got 3 sets of points in there. We've just been for a run on this bike. Tell me if it would go any better if I fitted electronic ignition. I don't think so, and I've had an electronic ignition go pop on the A65, which meant that I had to push it about 300 yards up a 1 in 4 hill on a baking hot summer's day. So I converted that back to points. So there's upgrades and there's upgrades. Now, what I would consider an upgrade on this, I've never actually done it, but would be to either fit the Norman Hyde 10-inch front disc conversion or the double disc front disc conversion. Now, that really would be worthwhile and it would be an upgrade. As it is, I sort of ride within the limitations of what I know the brakes have got. I don't really want to go riding it like I'm in the TT, and I do try and give enough space between me and other vehicles. I know, yeah, I could get caught out, but what I found with it is the harder you pull on the brake lever, the better that front brake works anyway. So, but I wouldn't dismiss a front brake conversion or upgrade as not essential. That would actually be a smart move. But some of these things that you can get for all sorts of bikes, that are supposed to be upgrades and improvements, well, as far as I'm concerned, the jury's out on them. And if whatever the machine is fitted with is working and working well, as that clutch cable did for 30 years, admittedly the Trident has spent quite a few of those 30 years off the road, but it's also seen a lot of use as well. So I'm not complaining about the clutch cable, and I don't think that I need to upgrade it in order to make it reliable and trustworthy. Other opinions are obviously available. Lol.